Tennis is the hardest sport in the entire world, and in today's video, I'm going to be explaining why that's true. When seeing a sport like tennis, you'd think that it doesn't compare at all to sports like football or soccer or any of these really hard sports, but the biggest difference between those sports and tennis is the mental toughness that you face on the tennis court. In most of the other sports, you have a team of people that you're working together with in order to try and win the game. In tennis, the only person you have is you and yourself alone. If you lose a match, it's because you couldn't figure out what to do. So what makes a sport challenging? For me, there are multiple different components. Number one, obviously the physicality. There are sports like wrestling, water polo, football. All of these sports are the highest physical levels. Maybe tennis isn't up there, but there's a reason that separates tennis from all these other sports. For one, tennis, you are individually on your own, and it is up to you to figure out what you can do to win the match. Unlike in many sports where you have a team that is there to support you and help build you up, and even if you make a mistake, your teammates are there to help solve the issue with you. On a tennis court, the only person you have to console is yourself, and every decision you make on the tennis court has to be made by yourself alone. All the work that you've done to get up to this point, everything that you have done to get to where you are, all depends on how you can perform on a match court. In other sports, like baseball and football, you have a whole team that can get you the win, and you don't have to play well to win. In tennis, it's up to you and you alone. That's what makes tennis so difficult, because the mental capacity that you need to be at to perform at your highest level is higher than every other sport. And if you don't agree with me, comment down below another sport that you think requires as much mental strength as tennis. But I really don't see any sport that requires that. Another reason that makes tennis so difficult and so hard to get good at is because of the amount of money it takes to get good. For most sports, you don't need that much equipment to perform and play the sport. There are so many different aspects that you need in order to get good at tennis, and as they all add up, you need to be able to pay for these expenses to get to this level. It's very difficult to get good at tennis without having help from other people and getting funds from people that are willing to support your journey. For me, what I've noticed recently when I'm on the court, I'm always second guessing myself and I'm not sure how to fix it. This is another big issue with tennis players, because sometimes you train so hard and work as hard as you possibly can to get something, and it just doesn't work out. And then what do? You have to go back to the drawing board and figure out a new way to get what you want. This obviously has to do with all sports, but in my opinion, tennis especially. If you guys are new to the channel, then you don't know me and my personal tennis journey. I started playing tennis about 3 years ago, and I've been trying to get better each and every day, thinking that all tennis will be is just a straight uphill slope where I continue to get better each and every day, but that isn't farther from the truth. The thing is, I might have started off by getting better very quickly, and all of a sudden, we hit a plateau, and ever since then, I've kind of been struggling to find my rhythm and to find my way to get back into the sport, which is another thing that makes tennis so difficult. Without having the perfect coaches that can help you and do exactly what you need them to do to get you better, you're almost stuck at the level that you don't want to be at. Almost all the time you feel like you can be beating players that are better than you on paper, and you always feel like you can be performing better than you actually are. And I've been struggling with that recently a lot. I've been losing to guys that I should never be losing to, and I've been playing way under my potential. And I know this happens with a lot of sports, but I feel this in tennis in particular, because in other sports, you have the coaching staff. You have 3 or 4 plus coaches per team because you're sharing them amongst an entire roster of players. In tennis, the only person on your roster is you, and you need to be the person caring for yourself. You need to be the person that is working to get yourself in the highest position, because if you don't do that for yourself, then who's going to? So even when we look at the professional tennis players, a name that comes to mind is Alexander Zverev. He is currently one of the top ranked players in the world, but you see him play at tournaments such as Indian Wells in Miami and losing to some of the lower ranked players in the entire tournament, losing in the early rounds and not doing very good. These are the types of tournaments that I feel like I've been having recently too, where I've felt like I can do much better and beat these players fairly easily when I end up losing these matches. So clearly, tennis isn't just hard for the players like me at an intermediate level, but even the top professionals are dealing with these same issues that I'm having, which goes to show how difficult this sport of tennis is. And even when you get to such a high level, there are still times where you're not going to feel confident in your game, and you're still going to struggle to beat players that you know you can beat on a day-to-day basis. So with all that being said, why do you still play tennis after all of these hardships that you have to deal with? Well, the answer for me is that I love tennis. And even though there's ups and there's downs, and there's times where I feel like I just shouldn't be playing this game anymore, there's times where I feel like I just want to quit and never pick up a racket again, it always comes back to me. I always have this feeling that just maybe I can become a better tennis player, and just maybe I can continue to rise up the rankings and become the best tennis player I can be. Whatever that looks like, I don't know yet, but I'm going to continue on this journey in hopes of finding my level, becoming a better tennis player, and maximizing my tennis potential. I hope you guys found this video interesting, and comment down below what you think the hardest sport is. I stand by my belief that tennis is in fact the hardest sport, and I'm interested to hear you guys' opinions as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next video.